I love you. My name's Tuffy, and I'm an addict. Hi, family. Take that ashtray now. The elevator? Okay, so I wanted to go. There's so much I want to share about, and it's first of all, I'll tell you, I might say fuck. I might not, but you ever heard a speaker talk and the right word to say is fuck, and then they try to work around it and they won't even say shit, you know? And they say, I scared the shoot out of that person, and it just takes away from the effectiveness of the message, okay? The elevator. So I had to go to my room, you know, and get spiritual. It's not something I live in all the time, and I want to, like, chill out. I want to lighten up, you know? I go to my room, and I come back, and there's the hotel police standing at the elevator, not letting anybody down to the ballroom because fire code, we've got too many addicts in here than we're supposed to have. So I see him saying, sorry, you can't go down. When people get off the elevator, then we let that many people on the elevator, and then that's who goes down. So I'm thinking, you know, instant panic for a second, but I think quickly on my feet. And I went out and took the stairs. I came down, and I sat down. I didn't want to, how shall I say, well, I didn't want to wait around, you know. But like I said, there's so much I want to say. I was telling my friend this, okay? I don't know how many of you are going to get this or not, but I have already spoke here about 14 times in the last 2 weeks. You got it, okay. Every night before I go to bed, right, I lay in bed and I think, wow, it's getting closer, it's getting closer. I'm going to be the main speaker. Is this really, you know, like, yeah, I can handle this. And what I'm here to do is carry the message of recovery I have found to those who seek it. I mean, I can only share my story, okay? I can't be everything to all people, but I'm me. I'm an addict, and I learned a lot in the time I've been here. So I've been clean 7 years, and I've got a lot I want to share about, but I'm going to have to qualify. How you doing, Rebecca?
Fine.
Okay. To let you know, I really am an addict, okay? I mean, I had denial. I didn't think I was that bad. There's a line in our text in chapter 10. In fact, it's in the text twice. It's so good. It's in the first step, I believe. Something about living skills were reduced to an animal level. The capacity to feel human was lost. And I used to say, well, you know, I never got that bad, until one of my friends told me, tough guy, take a look, man, take a look at where you came from. I was living out in the country in this house. I didn't have electricity in the house, okay, but that didn't constitute living skills reduced to animal level. I didn't have plumbing in the house either, you know, and so, you know, all things considered, no electric, no plumbing, you know, that means no running water or anything, and it was the winter time, it was cold. I mean, my animals lived better than I did, okay? So, but I didn't realize that till I was a year clean. I didn't write anything down. I don't know how long I'm going to talk. I know it's about 9 o'clock right now. We took a long time getting everything going here. So, how am I going to say this, okay? First time I used, okay, I was visiting in Florida. I was born in Miami, lived there for 12 years, moved to Columbus, Ohio. I lived there for 12 years, okay, and, well, we used to go down and visit down in Florida. I go down to Florida, my friends are all, by then they've already started using. Now, I'm not using yet in Ohio with my friends. You know, maybe I try to drink a beer once in a while, but I hadn't gotten buzzed yet. You know, I didn't know what it was like to get high on any kind of drug. So I'm down there, they break out a joint, right? Doesn't matter what they broke out. It could have been a bottle of wine and passed it around. But nonetheless, and they start passing it around, and I was scared to death, okay? Because I watched television, and I knew marijuana smoke led to heroin addiction, and I was scared. There must have been about 13 of us sitting there, you know, 12 or 11, 13 of us, and a guy right next to me lit up the joint, rolled in yellow paper. I was terrified, and he passed it the other way. So I got this much time to think about what I'm going to say when it gets to me. Gets to me, and I say, oh, no, man, I'm off that stuff now. Yeah, I was hooked pretty bad, and they didn't go for it. I had to take a hit off the joint, and I choked to death. I didn't get high, but I did get cool, okay? I got to go home. I got to go home to Columbus. Guess what, man? I smoked some pot. Yeah. And, but at that point, there were certain things I wouldn't do. Okay, so now it's okay to smoke pot, right? But it's not okay to do other things. I used to think that the drugs made a difference, and that's part of my using story. Like, I wouldn't do acid, right? I knew. I told you, right? I watch television. Are you paying attention? I would know that if I took some acid, that's LSD, and I could, 25 years later, I could have another trip and jump out the window. That's what they told you in the 60s and 70s. They didn't say no to drugs. They tried to scare you to death. And by the time I was done using, I had tried heroin, but that does not prove the theory correct, okay? You don't have to use heroin to be here, okay? It doesn't matter what or how much you use. We don't care where you got it. All we want to know, we want to help you. That's why we're here. I want to say, I'm going to jump around a lot, so try and pay attention here, because I got a lot to say, okay? I fucking love, see, I said it. I love this fellowship. I love Narcotics Anonymous, okay? And I love you. The convention, I thought I'd come up here. I've never been to a C&P convention, okay? For those of you that don't know, that's the Chesapeake and Potomac. And you all throw a good party, okay? This is really good. I didn't know how many people were going to be here, you know. I figured it might be a good size, 700, 800. You know, I didn't know there'd be over 1,000 people here. I didn't know that I wouldn't know hardly any of yous here. And on the entertainment committee, you did a bang-up job. There was so much variety of entertainment, and I've really had a good time here. I might come back next year. You never know, but I had a really good time. So keep coming back. We need you. I want to say a lot of things. Like, I want to say that, yeah, you're right, the newcomer, we need you. Keep coming back. Go to a lot of meetings. Get a sponsor and use it, but you got to go to meetings, right? Well, guess what? You know, if you got 5 years, you got to go to meetings. You got to give it away to keep it, okay? Hey, you've heard this before, right? I mean, we can only keep what we have by giving it away. That's not a nice thing that sounds good to say. That's like how this program works. Do you understand me? And I'm not up here to tell you that I've got some kind of secret, you know? I don't live in Fort Lauderdale. I'm from Florida, right? I love Florida. We are good. Yeah, Florida. I got your mother, okay? Now I forgot what I was going to say. That's right. Thank you. See, you know what else you know what else is true? I can't and we can. So if y'all can help me a little bit, keep me on track. I didn't come up here from Fort Lauderdale because I go to some kind of secluded meeting out in the wilderness where there's about a half a dozen of us with over 5 years clean that got the secret to life. There is no secret to recovery. You know, like if you want what we have to offer, have you heard this one before? And if you're willing to make the effort to get it, come on, give me a break, will you? Then you're ready to take certain steps. How do you think I recovered? By going to meetings? That helps a little bit. But man, no, I do my homework. I got to go home and I get out my pen, right? And I get out paper and I write step 1, right? And then I write about it. And there's no secret. It's on the board, okay? That's how it works. And I'm just up here to share you like how I wrote step 1. You know what my sponsor might have told me. We pick up some neat little things along the way. And I wanted to make sure I told you all that too. There's no secret to this, okay? Anyway, so I use drugs, right? I'm going back to the beginning to let the newcomer know I'm really an addict, right? I really am an addict.
You're doing great, Tuffy.
I love you. Okay, I can smoke pot, right? But I'm not going to do acid. But I tried acid, okay, and it was so fucking small. It was tiny. It was one hit. We split it, right? I got off, all right? So now it's okay to do acid. It's okay to do pot, and I draw that line. But there's this. I'll never do this. Well, I did that too because my friend did it, and it got him off. So by the time it was all done, there wasn't anything I hadn't tried except crack. I don't think it had been invented then, you know, but... And down in South Florida, them addicts don't have long out there. I'm telling you, they are running to these rooms or they're dying trying. You know, there's people out there outside of this hotel right now. You're in here celebrating your recovery, and it all feels good. But there's someone out there dying trying to get a fix right now because this is a progressive disease. You know, this is jails, institutions, and death. And recovery, you know, that's hopefully an end to this. We can recover. We can help another addict stay clean. That's why I'm here, is to help another addict stay clean another day. To stay on the phone that one extra minute, you know, help that newcomer stay clean that one extra day. And if you've got a little bit of time, you better be going up there and saying, welcome to the meeting with that newcomer that comes in there. Make them feel comfortable. I was going to say something else, and I forgot, too.
It used to be worse.
It used to be worse. Thanks, Greg. I love Greg, too. I love everybody. So this one kid says to me, so I find recovery. We all find recovery, right? All of us that are here either just stumbled in the door because they were here visiting someone in the town, or they know someone, or they went through treatment, or they went through jail, or they got probated, or they had I had an acquaintance. He said, hey, Tuffy, let's go to Narcotics Anonymous meeting. I said, oh, no thanks, I'll pass. And anyway, one night he got me to go, right? Now, when I was first coming around, I was dabbling around, trying to get clean. I was trying to stop certain drugs because, you know, I thought the drug was my problem, and not that I'm an addict. I just, you know, some of the drugs really kicked my ass, and I figured I've got to stop doing those drugs. And I was okay with stopping this and just still doing that. I didn't want to go to a Narcotics Anonymous meeting. He told me this is a program of total abstinence from all drugs. And, but I went, okay? He was driving. I was in the car. We showed up at a Narcotics Anonymous meeting. Now, this is in Columbus, Ohio, 1981. We had 3 meetings a week to choose from. Do you guys have any idea how lucky you are, how fortunate, how available recovery is? We didn't even have a recovery text, all right? Anyway, hey, I don't have much time for applause. We got to get through this thing, all right? There was a man standing at the door, and guess what? I found out he's here tonight, too. A man named Mike, right? And he's standing at the door this Sunday night, Tuesday night meeting, whichever it was. It was a group that met twice a week. There was that group and another group, and they made up 3 meetings. I go in the door, you know, and I looked like Mark described me, okay? And he said, hi, my name's Mike. And he shook my hand, right? I said, hi, I'm Tuffy. He says, welcome. He was like all over me because I was a newcomer. I didn't want anything. I come in, I look at all you people. I'm like, well, you know, they just couldn't handle their drugs. And I'm not here for me or anything. I'm here. He drove me, you know. And I didn't speak. I didn't say anything. I didn't want what you had to offer. I wasn't willing to make any kind of effort whatsoever. But you guys look like you needed some help if you ask me, okay? The meeting was fine. I don't remember much of it. I left, and somehow I ended up back there the next week. And hadn't seen that guy at the door. He was at that door every week, probably on a Tuesday, welcoming people. I go back in next Tuesday, a week later. You think I remember his name? No. And he says, hi, Tuffy, welcome back. Well, he stopped me in my tracks, and I was really impressed. And and I didn't say that to be funny. Maybe it was the way I said it. I don't know. But he remembered my name. And, well, you know what? That made an impression on me. I try to remember names. I try to welcome newcomers, and I try to make them realize that you're needed, because if we don't have any newcomers coming in, you're all smart enough to figure it out. So he remembered my name. I sat down, and, you know, I had fun. I came into Narcotics Anonymous not wanting to stop using. I was just hanging out. They didn't say, well, you got to be clean to be here. They said, keep coming back. And afterwards, they say, let's go get some coffee. Let's go to a movie. Let's go play. I was like, oh, boy, we're going to go play. And it was a party for me. I mean, I live to party, all right? And I had a good time. So I didn't use when I was with these people, but I continued using every day. And this went on for about 6 months. And I had to make up a clean date. And, well, they asked me, okay? Before it was all said and done, I had, was still using, started 2 Narcotics Anonymous meetings, made up a phony clean date, which wasn't so bad. It was only a week or 2 ago. But then, you know, next week it was 3 weeks of a lie. Then it was a month and 6 weeks. And then by the time, I was 4 months into this lie, they thought I was 4 months clean, right? And, no, I wasn't a day clean. Every night I'd go home, do a couple bong hits, meditate, and nod. And I did this every day for 6 months, okay? In the beginning, I want to tell you, it was really beautiful. People opened their house to me. They opened their love to me, their hearts. I go to this hayride. I hooked up with some winners, is what happened. You got to stick with the winners. We say that because they're clean and they're recovering, and they're going to help us for a new way of life. So these guys, they were, working on the text. They had this gray book, and they said, "Look, Tuffy, this is our basic text. This is what's going to be our basic text." And I wasn't impressed. I didn't know anything, right? They were excited about it, and I could see their enthusiasm. And, they had a lot of time, too. 2 years, a year. Anything over a year clean was like forever to me. You got to realize I wasn't clean yet. And so I went on a hayride. This guy up in Northeast Ohio. Anyway, we had a good time. I always had a good time. We go up there, I bring a couple people with me. I'm still using, right? And these people don't know me. He introduces me to all his friends. Everybody comes over. We're hanging out at the farm, and everybody's loving and hugging, and I'm getting off on this shit, okay? Then the next day, it's time to go back to Columbus, and we go over some chick's house. She's going to cook us all dinner. She's got to take this guy back to the bus station, right? So I'm thinking, we're going to leave, going to the bus station, and we're going to have to get out of her house. She says, "Look, I'm going to the bus station. If you're not here when I get back, I love you, and thanks for coming up. I'll see you next time." She gives me and the two people I'm with a hug, and she and the guy go out and leave me in her house. And I said, "I don't believe this shit." They had trusted me. So this was unlike any other life I've ever known before, and I kind of gravitated toward it. And I used to pray. Well, if you're paying attention, I did a couple bong hits and meditated. Well, I really did meditate, and I'd say to God, that's my HP, I'd say, what am I supposed to do here? I've helped them out. I started a couple meetings, and I'd like to get back to my own life, I want to get back to some serious using. These bong hits are like... But anyway, I thought, if I'm going to help, I really better be clean anyway, So I said, okay, I'll give it a week, maybe a month at the most, then I can go back to using. And I just never really went back to using because I just kind of fit in right here. I never even knew I was an addict until I was here a few months clean and working some steps and tracing back over my life through an inventory and seeing what I was about. And I lived to use and used to live, Very simply, my life was controlled by drugs. My life was consumed by drugs. Drugs fucking really consumed me. I just wanted to use, and I wanted better drugs. And then from alcohol, you got all kinds of different flavors to choose from. I had my favorite alcohol. I had my favorite pot, I had my favorite downer, and I had my favorite upper. But my drug of choice was yours, okay? My drug of choice was... I need a time check. Thanks, Rebecca. Knew I could get a straight answer from her. She hadn't been clean long enough to deceive, okay? Oh, okay. So Greg doesn't want me stopping and asking again. He's going to let me use someone's watch here. You ever been to a banquet? I mean, some of you here, this is not your first convention. And by the time I was at a convention, I'm not going to tell you where it was or who the speaker was, but he sure was boring, all right? And I think he was asleep. You know what I think? I think he was playing his tape and lip-syncing it, because I heard him before, and he didn't change anything, all right? He didn't get up there to start speaking till almost 10 o'clock. What, with the clean time and the roll call and the late dinner? This wasn't too bad. We're getting underway pretty good. I don't know where I am. Where am I? A year clean, a month clean? I moved to Florida. I get involved in service. Because that's what the people with whom I associated, that's what they were involved with. They were involved with writing our text. They were involved with making new pamphlets. They were involved with making motions. They were... Something else I wanted to tell you. I won't say the S word, you can be sure of that. Anyway. I know a few people here. 6 months clean, I was vice chair of the Ohio region. That was when that was at regional when Mark came up, and I thought I was safe. I thought he was heterosexual. It didn't bother me then. So I really have no idea what I'm going to share up here. My recovery works for me. I do my homework. I sponsor people. I work the steps. I try to apply them to the best of my ability. I fall short in a lot of areas. There's sometimes I really don't like myself. There are sometimes when my behavior is unacceptable. And sometimes I make mistakes. And I accept them and I learn from them. And I say, well, I really don't want to do that again. And don't you know, the situation will come up again. And I'll be faced with a decision. I was here before. And last time, I chose door number 1. Let's see what I'm... And I didn't like the outcome, all right? I suffered spiritually. I suffered emotionally. Might have even lost a couple days clean time. So what I try to do, depending on the consequences, is I will try and change my behavior a little bit. I really want to recover. I really want what this program has to offer. I want to live the 12th step. I mean, I really strive to, like, clean up this shit in here, you know, and let's move on, because what I've seen so far has been really, really good. I mean, I remember when I had 2 years clean, I thought I was on top of the world, right? I just landed in Florida, and I'd been there about a year, I guess. And I was born there, so I'm back home. I got me a real job, you know, making $4.75 an hour at a computer place, and hot shit, okay? I was on my way. I mean, I had paid vacations, right? Sick day. And, I thought, it don't get no better than this. You know, 2 years clean. I'm a spiritual giant. I got a job. What's one more? I was involved with literature there in Florida. It got better. I remember when I had 4 years clean, I was on top of the world, you know. And things get better. Of course, shit happens. I remember I was 5 years clean, 6 years clean. I forget now. I got fired from my job, you know. I mean, that's hard to live with, right? I am not an acceptable, responsible, productive member of that society anyway. I didn't like corporate America. You know, they're such tattletales. I don't know if any of you work in a corporation, but fuck me, right? I really would like to get some kind of train of thought here and tell you about recovery and working steps. I cut my hair in 1985. When I gave up aspirations of being a rock star. I could have done it too, don't you know? It must not have been God's will, because too many drugs, too much other crazy shit that I love to participate in. So, hey, I had to let go of that, and I figured I'm going to be a corporate president or something. Anyway, I had a good job. But back on the track of recovery and what this program has to offer, and some of the living experiences I've had to deal with, some of the crisis in recovery when I thought my higher power had given me more than I could handle. I was wrong, though. I was supposed to be able to handle that shit, and I did. But I love my higher power. I hope you love yours, because he is like the best, all right? I mean, this is yeah. You know, like, that's going to be very helpful to you. You really kind of need that. That's the one thing, more than anything else, that will defeat you in your recovery. You know, an attitude of indifference or intolerance towards spiritual principles, all right? I go to meetings, right, and I hear this shit read all the time, and then, you know, all of a sudden something will hit me. I mean, I've heard it a million times, but it was the 1,000,001th time that I heard it. I come out of a broken relationship. I was devastated. I mean, I had physical pain from that bitch, right? I couldn't eat. And I couldn't sleep, all right? I lost 15 pounds, and I didn't have it to lose anyway, you know, so... But I was on my knees praying. I pray on my knees because my sponsor did, and that's what he told me to do, and people I sponsor... I leave it up to their religion. Some of them are Jewish. They don't get off on getting on their knees, but so far they all do, even the Jewish guys. But you don't have to pray on your knees if you don't want to, right? It's your higher power, and don't let me tell you how to work your program other than 1, right? You get out your pen and you write step 1. But getting back to what I was saying about, I was on my knees praying, right? I'm devastated. I'm a basket case, a mere shell of a man I once was. And I say... So I'm praying, oh, God, please help me get through this shit. Oh, I thanked him, too. Someone said, thank your higher power for this shit, okay? I said, okay, so I do. I honestly do, and I tell my babies. I tell the guys I sponsor, I say, well, you thank your higher power for this shit because it helps you appreciate the good shit that much more, all right? So I'm on my knees and I say, oh, God, this is terrible, you know, I feel like I'm dying inside. I mean, I feel like my heart was ripped out. It was obsession, infatuation. It was intense, I tell you that. And all of a sudden, in the middle of praying, it dawns on me. I'm like, ha, I got you. You give me more than I can handle this time. And he just looked, he said, no, I didn't. I said, what? You mean I'm supposed to be handling this shit? He said, yeah, you can do it. And I said, oh, okay, well, let's do it, okay. You know, I look back on that area. I was about 3 years clean, so that was about 4 years ago. And I look back on that period of my life. It was like a battlefield. It was like a war zone, you know? I was like, I'm wounded. It's like, I look back on it with fond memories because I come out the victor, right? I mean, I won. I come out, my recovery is that much stronger. My conscious contact was that much more intense, that much more open, and I was able to help another sick and suffering, sniveling addict who lost his girlfriend, you know? The love of his life. You know what? That shit happens. Maybe she grew tired of you guys, all right? But so what, right? I mean, she's not the only woman in the world, believe me, all right? I know. I just come out of a relationship over a year ago. It was pretty devastating. I mean, I was serious. I was going to get married, and I knew she was the one for me. And to this day, I'll tell you, you know, maybe she was, but she didn't seem to think so. But my higher power, and that's okay. I trust my higher power because he's got better plans for me than I could ever plan for myself. That's what made it so easy to do my third step. I said, someone said, do you believe your higher power's got better plans for you than you could plan for yourself? And I said, yeah, I could buy into that. I said, well, then do your third step, all right? Because I'd only done a partial third step. I let go of most of my life, but there was this one thing I kind of still wanted for me, you know? But no, I had to let go. I had to trust God. He's my higher power. He's got it all worked out, and I try to stay out of his way. You ever get in your higher power's way, you know? And he's trying to fix your life, and you're trying to help him, and you're no help, okay? Just get out of the way, right? Do what you know works. We don't have time for applause, please. You go to meetings, you help another addict stay clean another day, and you write about it, and then you're going to get through any kind of shit you got, and you're going to be a stronger you're going to be a stronger addict because of it. You're going to have that much more experience to share with that newcomer that comes through the door. You're going to have that much more spiritual awareness to help you with your daily prayers and meditation and acceptance on life terms. Acceptance reminds me of being in McDonald's, being in line. You know, sometimes I get off the track, right? You know that by now. So, you know what I hate about standing in lines? I try to practice acceptance when I'm driving, you know, or when I'm waiting around, and when I gotta depend on other people to, like, get out of the way so I can do something. But staying in line's not so bad, but when you're, like, 10th in line, and by the time you get up to the front, there's nobody behind you, that's no fun. It was like I could have waited 10 minutes and then gotten there. Anyway, stay out of your higher power's way. I don't know where I am in this story. I'm supposed to, like, tell you how I got clean and what happened. I don't know where I am. I bounce around a lot, you know. I got a lot to share about, and I love Narcotics Anonymous. I love my higher power. I love what this program has to offer. I just kind of wish I thought I'd be better off by the time I was 7 years clean. I thought I would be in not where I am right now. And I was told, if you write your list of expectations when you're coming in, I never did that. I wish I had. If you'd written your list of expectations, you would have been cheating yourself. Well, after I had a few years clean, I realized, you know what? I don't even want the things now I wanted when I was a month clean. My whole perception of life changes a little bit. Perception, right? Just for today, like, how many times have you heard that one, right? But it just applied to my life recently. Just for today, through NA, I will try to get a better perspective on my life. And when I'm having problems at work, I work in sales, and boy, does that suck, right? But it pays well. So I'm having problems at work, and I'm thinking, well, I got to work evenings or go in on the weekend or got to study my product knowledge so I know what I'm selling, And someone said, a salesman in recovery said, no, Tuffy, you need to go to a meeting, And I'm like, yeah, but Jim, don't you agree product knowledge is important? He said, so take an hour out of your life and you go to a meeting. So I was having real problems at work, financial shit. not making enough money. But I know, he's right, right? I've been around long enough to know I got to go to meetings. There's no way around it, I go to a meeting, they read at the end of the meeting, they read just for today. All of a sudden it hits me. Through NA, I will get a better, just for today, right? Through NA, I will try to get a better perspective on my life. And you know what? My perception changed after that. I did better at work, sure, because I was not so tense and freaked out and worried about anything. I was like, well, let go, let God, how important is it? Where are my priorities? I'll tell you my priorities. Number 1 priority is to stay clean. Number 2 priority is to recover. All right? Abstinence does not equal recovery. Oh, you like that one? Okay. And everything else after that, kind of like, they fluctuate. My priorities change from time to time. But 1 and 2 don't change, Along with recovery, which is my second priority, is helping another addict stay clean. Well, I've said that, right? Sometimes I make my point over and over, and I don't want to do that. So I work the steps, right? I get out the pen and I start writing. I work them to the best of my ability. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm new in recovery, but I'm writing about them. I get to the 4th step and I got to write all the shit I've done, right? Then I got to write all the good things about myself, and I'm stuck. I'm like, I don't say no when they ask me at meetings. Someone needs a ride, I give them a ride. That's about all I had for the assets part. And when you're doing your 4th step, it's true, there is no 5th step, okay? It doesn't really exist. Although someday, if you really want what this program has to offer, you'll move on to the next step. But you don't really know who you're going to do your 5th step with. And of course, I had a good idea. I was probably going to do it with my sponsor at the time. And when it come time to do the 5th step, I got a new sponsor. 2 weeks now, I've had this guy. And I told him I'm not done with my 4th step. He said, let me see it. I showed it to him. He read it. I hardly know this man. He's reading my 4th step, okay? And I said, yeah, I'm on the assets part. I'm writing all the good things about me. I'm kind of stuck. And he said, that's good enough right there. You're ready. Ready to do a 5th step. I said, well, let's go. I was scared. There was one thing in my 4th step. You got to write everything, right? Or at least you got to cop to everything. I didn't want to write this one on paper, okay? It was embarrassing. I thought that, but I do want to recover. And when I do my 5th step, I'm not going to leave this out because, I don't want to use. I heard you'd use if you left something out of your 5th step, and that scared me. By now I wanted recovery, right? I had a few months clean. I was into the program. So it come time to the 5th step. First thing I shared was that thing that wasn't written, that big dark secret that it's really nothing. I've heard worse 5th steps than what I gave. But to me it was important. It was my life. It was my sickness, and I was embarrassed. But I dumped it. And my sponsor did me one better when he come back with what he had done and shocked the shit out of me because he seemed like... And then after that, everything flowed smoothly. Plus, that reminded me of another incident I'd totally forgotten about. It's a trigger mechanism. Once you start writing, it seems you can't stop. If you really get on a roll, you really start writing, and things really start coming out on the paper. And you'll benefit from it, right? So I got to do a 6th step. I buzzed right by it, We were entirely ready to have God remove all our defects of character. Of course I'm ready. Sounds simple. Let's go to 7. Well, you know what? So we humbly asked him to remove our shortcomings. I get a dictionary out. I'm telling you, dictionary has been my greatest ally in recovery, I never knew what voyeurism was, right? I look it up in the dictionary. I don't know what a shortcoming is, Less problems of property or less problems of money, property, and prestige. What the hell's a lest, okay? They don't use that in my generation. So I look up shortcoming, and you know what it says? Go look it up, all right? So I write it out what it says, and then I want you to recover too, all right? I need you guys. And so I'm trying to humbly ask him. I said, how do I get humble? I don't know. Let me look it up in the dictionary. So I say, well, what's humble? Maybe if I'm naked, if I kneel down on the pool table in the basement, naked, maybe that's humble. And maybe, I don't know how to get humble, right? I'm not even a year clean yet. So I tried the 7th step, but it didn't work. I'm still an asshole. So I said, okay. I got to do another 7th step. That one didn't work. I mean, I got people talking about me, and I don't even know about it yet, things I've done. They don't like my behavior in Columbus. They ran me out of Columbus, you know. And so, but you know what the secret is? The secret to the 7th step is the 6th step, you know? Until you're entirely ready, and only you know when you're entirely ready. You, deep down in yourself, you really know, you know, even if no one else does. Think about it. You might, I mean, we do get into self-deception. Try and break through that, and you know when you're entirely ready. And then, you know, say goodbye, because 7 steps a piece of cake, and they go away. And you might miss them or think you will at first, but no, humility is much better than any of those defects you have. But you know, I'm not perfect. Hell, I still got defects, and it comes out in some areas of my life, and I don't want to be a dick, all right? I want to be a recovering addict. I want to be loved by everyone. I want to be respected. So I do an 8th step, you know. I did that to the best of my ability. I'm not going to go on through the rest of the steps. You know, you practice these principles in all your affairs. You do it to the best of your ability. So you make a mistake, well, that's okay. We all kind of do. Don't pick up the first one. That's the one that gets you off. You just got to still go to meetings. And if you find yourself not going to meetings, and it won't be you people with less than a year probably. It'll probably be you fucking know-it-alls with over 5, all right? If you find yourself not going to a few meetings and slacking off, hey, those are early warning signals, right? You know, recently, I'll share like what's some current events with you. I've been kind of like in a bad space, you know. I've been really like fucked up, and I don't like it because it scares me, because because I'm an addict, and I know I can use without even knowing it, you know. But I'll have some signals at first. First, I'll not want to go to meetings. Then I'll be kind of angry and negative and unaccepting of things I used to accept rather well. I'll find myself wanting to isolate, which isn't entirely bad. You know, I do cherish my solitude. I live alone, and I love it, but I love being around people. I love fellowshipping, too. I mean, you know what? I got 8 people in my room, you know. So many people have helped me out. And I'm checking out tomorrow, so do you think I care, right? But so many people have helped me out and given me a place to stay when I needed one, that it's my opportunity to give back. You know, I don't share my space very well, and I've never shared my room with other people. You know, I'll pawn them off on someone else who can't say no as easily as I can. I'll make sure they get a room, you know. But oh, my life, current events, okay? So, I'm not feeling good, right? Job is bad, my rent's not paid, I'm gonna have to leave the field I'm in and start all over. I'm thinking, what the hell's wrong with me? I can't get to work on time. You know, hey, have you heard this one before? It's my own damn fault anyway. It's through my own inabilities to accept personal responsibility. See, I actually create my own problems, and I can't blame them on anybody else. It's my own damn fault, so what am I gonna do about it? Well, I better go to a meeting. So I figured, you know what I thought about using? I thought about drugs. Now, I haven't thought about drugs in years, all right? I didn't think about copping, right? That's the next serious step. When you actually think about copping, going to get drugs, whether you're going to 7-Eleven, okay? Let me remind you, alcohol is a drug, okay? So when I talk about drugs, that's just what I used, you know? And so I'm thinking, why the hell am I thinking about this shit for, right? You know, I've been clean this long, and I'm a good recovering addict. I share a lot, I help people, and I haven't thought about this, so it scares me. I don't want to use. I really want to stay here because it's a lot harder to get back. I had a friend, had 7 years, pretty good friend, real good recovery, sponsored a lot of people. He was almost going to be my sponsor, and but he got in a motorcycle accident. He was in the hospital. They give him a lot of drugs. He came out. He relapsed. He used big time. And he wasn't able to come back. So he picked up a white chip, but that didn't work. He's out using again, and he picked up another white chip. And that didn't, you know, I bet you it's a lot harder to come back than it is to stay. I just think it is, and I don't want to have to come back, all right? And if you're back, then, you know, work your steps and live. Learn a new way of life, because it works. Works for thousands and thousands of addicts across the world. It'll work for you. Trust me, all right? So, yeah. I had a sponsor he used. That was kind of like by accident, you know, because he was, what he loved to do was huff glue, right? And so he's a carpenter working with construction adhesive, and he was working this job. My sponsor had 5 years clean, you know. He was our RSR at one time, and anyway, he was working this job 12 hours a day, gluing down the floor of this boat. And, you know, he's gluing it down. All of a sudden, he'd fucking pick up the tube and just gone. He was gone, right? And once you've used, you figure, what the fuck, you know, how long it's been since I've had an ice cold beer? And so it's a lot harder to come back. I really don't miss an ice cold beer. I had a construction job, and I was hot, and I was thirsty. This was a year ago, right? I'm 6 years clean. And at the end of the day, did I say hot and thirsty? Yeah, it was in December. I was sweating, okay? Like a pig, I was sweating. I love Florida. And the guys go out for some beer. I say, oh, shit, that looks good. You know, I got to get out of here. It was quitting time anyway. So I didn't think about having a beer. It just looked good because of my condition, because I was too thirsty, right? That works, too. Don't let yourself get too thirsty. Don't get too hungry. If you're angry, take a chill pill, will you? You know, like, chill out. Lighten up, homeboy. And if you're lonely, you pick up that 500-pound telephone and you call somebody, all right? Or you get your ass to a meeting. Don't let yourself get in a bad space, because your disease loves it, right? He says, oh, boy. So I leave and I go get a Pepsi. You know what? I didn't want a beer anymore. You know? Guys, maybe you can relate to this. Ever lust over a woman, right? And then she's gone. She's, you know, like it's next week. Are you lusting over that same girl you lusted over last week? You don't even remember what she was wearing, okay? It passes. What I'm trying to say is, hey, it'll go away, you know? Just like, hang in there. Get through this next hour. Don't use today. Stay clean just for today. You don't have to, if you want to use, you can go use any time you want. See, I can go out there. I'm not missing anything, let me tell you. Anytime I want, it's out there. The drugs have not dried up, okay? But I bet anyone in here, I bet I make it through the rest of this night without picking up. I feel pretty spiritually charged. And it'll be easy, but sometimes it's not easy to get through that. Sometimes you're thinking about drugs, you know, thinking about using, whatever you want to use. You think I really care? I don't. Whatever you want to use, you'll be thinking about it, but it'll go away, you know, just like you ever see a nice car at a traffic light. It drives, it looks nice. You might want to drive one of those someday. But then the light turns green, it goes away, and you're back en route to whatever. You're on your way to a meeting, right? Maybe you're the chairperson. Maybe you got to make coffee. You're not thinking about that car anymore, you know, but at the time it was there. What I wanted to share about...
It's been worse.
Could I have a Marlboro Light, please? I'm out of cigarettes. I didn't come prepared. I'm still a smoker, you know. Maybe that means I still use drugs. I don't know. Thank you. But I didn't come here to stop smoking or drink coffee. Maybe someday I'll improve my life. And you're all entitled to your own... Oh, I still eat red meat. God forgive me. But I agree with it's not healthy for me, but nonetheless, I'm killing myself here. But I don't want to talk about cigarettes either. I want to talk about recovery from the disease of addiction. You know where it lives? Right between my ears. I am my own worst enemy, right? An addict alone is in bad company, because sometimes it's just not good. I didn't really finish sharing about the rough time I've been through this past couple of months. And what I did was figure... I better go to a lot of meetings. I better double up on my meetings. You know, after you're clean a few years, you really don't go to a meeting a day. And people that do, I think, are kind of like warped anyway. You know, people that still live in the rooms. I'm sorry, wait a minute. There might be someone here that does that, and that's wrong for me to say that, because They might get off on it. They might be real responsible and productive. But, man, when I hear someone say, hey, I don't want to make NA my life, man. I got my own life. Well, you know, you don't have to make it your life. If you want to recover, go to a meeting once in a while. Go to a few. But, you know, leave your sleeping bag at home, and you're not going to live here in Narcotics Anonymous. I mean, we all function out there in the real world. We all have, well, anyway, I'm not going to get off on a tangent here. So, after you're clean a few years, I notice a lot of people where I live, they don't go to 7 or 10 meetings a week like we used to. So I was down to like 3 meetings a week, sometimes 4, Thursday through Sunday. I haven't gone to a Monday meeting or a Tuesday meeting or a Wednesday meeting in well over a year, maybe 2. Yeah, probably. Every now and then I might hit a Tuesday meeting or whatever, but forget Monday. There's no good meetings on Monday, you know? But I'm scared. This disease, I have a lot of respect for it. It's going to get me when I don't know it, and it's going to creep up on me slowly, and I figure, well, you know, something's wrong here. I better get back to basics. I'm going to tell you guys what worked for you. This is for anyone like over a year clean, okay? What worked for you when you were 3 months clean and 9 months clean, it still works for you today. You can still go to 7 meetings a week, you know? You can still start writing the steps all over again. Start calling your sponsor a little bit more often. You know, people I know, they don't call their sponsor every day or not even every week sometimes. So that's what I did. I said, I ended up going to a Wednesday meeting. Someone asked me to speak. I said, okay. And then I do my Thursday through Sunday deal, and I wanted to double up on meetings. Like Friday, I might have hit 2. Saturday, I might have hit 2 or 3. One of those days, I hit 3 meetings, and I really was astounded. I haven't hit 3 meetings in one day in years. It used to be what I did on weekends. Meetings, movies, more meetings. And but so come Sunday, 5 days later, I got like 7 meetings under my belt, and I said, you know, this is really what I need is meetings. So I decided, I looked back to Wednesday, it was February 1. I said, I got it. I'll go to a meeting a day this month. You know, that'll be good for me. I can do it. So I'm into it about 20 days, and I'm thinking, you know, the hell with this. I mean, I tell you, some of the meetings I went to, I really would have been better off staying home and reading Chapter 10 or something like that. I love Chapter 10. Just reading my text or something. But I went to a meeting because that was my commitment. And so 20 days into it, I said, I can go another week. You know, February is a short month, all right? All right, so I went to the meetings. Everything was fine. And I didn't make it, though. On my way to the Georgia convention Friday night, I wasn't able to make a meeting, you know. It's easy to justify. I had a good time at the convention, a lot of recovery. But I made a commitment. I did it. I really want to stay here. And I was really projecting. Like, I knew I was going to be up here sharing my message of recovery, you know, my experience with you. I knew this back in, I don't know, October, November or something, just when the bottom had fallen out of my life, all right? And I'm thinking, how in the hell am I going to get up there and be a shining example of what Narcotics Anonymous has done to my life, you know, because I didn't really like my life at that time. I said, this is not good. Things were a lot better before, but that's what happened, you know. I mean, I didn't get where I thought I was going to be. Recovery has not turned out like I thought it was. Recovery has been a journey beyond my wildest expectations, beyond my wildest dreams. But it's been surprising, too. It's been filled with adventure, fun, seriousness, and I was going to touch a little bit on crisis, you know, devastation, shit that happens in your life. And so you call your sponsor, so you share it with someone. You go to a meeting, you share about it at a meeting, and it kind of like lessens the load, and it doesn't feel so bad anymore. But when things get really, really bad, just do what used to work for you. Think back on it. You won't always be in this terrible space. You won't always, no, that says it right there, you know. You're going to get on the other side of it. You're going to look back on it, and then you'll be able to share about it to someone else. So I don't know where that brings me to right now. It's moving up on 10 o'clock here. I do have a lot to share about, and I'm kind of like running out of things to say. I guess I'm going to wrap it all up here. You all do look beautiful, though, and this has really been a good convention. There's been a lot. I was going to like write down things I was going to say, but I'd really like you all to stay here. If you've heard anything good, why don't you go back to where you come from and share about it at a meeting, you know? Why don't you help another addict stay clean another day? Because you can only keep what you have by giving it away. So you gotta give it away. Going to meetings, what did I say? That's important? Sure. Going to meetings is very important. You know what works even better than that? Is when you share at a meeting, you know? You share a little bit, because not only do you feel better, right? Someone hears something good maybe, or they can see, oh, you know, things happen in his life too, or things are going good for him. Or you either offer hope to someone, or you either look a little bit more real to someone else, that your life is real. But you got to share about it. You got to give it away to keep it. You got to sponsor people, and you say, yeah, Tuffy, right, yeah, I need to sponsor people, but what am I going to do? Go up and ask people to sponsor me? No. You're going to like open your mouth at a meeting, share a little bit about your recovery. Someone's going to come up to you. They're going to want what you have to offer, because you got it from someone you sponsored, and they got it from someone they sponsored, and they pass it on down. Then you get to sponsor someone. And if you think recovery is grand, when you're first coming in, you're playing, you're having fun, maybe you're getting laid and thinking that this is great too, wait till you sponsor somebody, okay? Wait till someone comes to you with their shit. And to you, it's like, it's okay, you know, lighten up. Read chapter 7, all right? I love you. Thanks for calling. Call anytime. I'm here for you. You are very important to me. The people I sponsor, when I got my first baby, right? I'm the guy I sponsor, okay? Some people call them babies, some people don't. And some call them sponsees, some call them sponsorees. I think that's a female sponsee. I don't know. But this guy, it was so cool, right, in Columbus. I love this guy. Sitting at a meeting, he's in treatment, or it's at a meeting where he was in treatment, and he was out a week or something, had to get a sponsor. I'm sitting next to him. He's a real practical joker, a real clown, a man after my own heart, right? And he writes a note on a matchbook. And I don't know if I was pulling out a cigarette or something. I don't know how he passed me the matchbook, but so he passed me the matchbook. I opened it up. It says, I need a sponsor. You. Phone number and a line for me to write my phone number down, you know? Not even a year clean. I might be 9 months clean and everything, but I was really active. I was really involved, and you had to be back then, you know? You had to share. You had to work your steps, and you had to give it away. We had newcomers coming in the door, and we had to get another meeting, so we had one every night. So I go to my sponsor, and I say, I'm sponsoring someone, okay? What do I do? He told me. So I'm going to tell you, it might not be your philosophy, but he said, Tuffy, that man is like more important than your own recovery. He'd make him very important in your life. And so I did, my sponsor, I did everything he told me. I never knew what he was, I always thought I knew what he was going to say, and he would always surprise me and come back and say something really different, you know, like it was totally off the wall. But anyway, so he told me how to sponsor someone. He said, he's very important to you. You must always be there for him when he calls. You hold his life in your hands. I said, whoa, okay, well, I'm going to have to stay clean and get through this, because now I got to keep 2 of us clean. And so sponsoring someone will push you right through the steps too. And I was going to share something else about that too, about people coming in, sponsoring somebody. The newcomer is the most important person at any meeting. That's what I was going to share about. Now I get to give you my opinion. That's some of the privileges of being up here and talking to a large group of people at one time, you know. Now, it's written in our literature. Have any of you ever heard anyone contradict our literature? Well, that's bullshit, you know. I'm the most important person here. Well, to yourself, you might be the most important person, all right? But to your group, you're not, okay? To your group. These are in the traditions, you know, in the group. Newcomer is the most important person at any NA meeting, okay? Because, you know, we can only keep what we have by giving it away. So, yeah, your recovery is very important to you. It is a very selfish program, and I'm a very selfish recovering addict, you know? I really love myself, and I really treat myself well. Of course, like I said, there's a couple areas in my life that I just do not like, and I want to, like, get rid of this shit, you know? And, but when a newcomer comes into my home group, welcome, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Coffee's ready. It's right over there. There's literature up here. Get yourself a meeting list. I always say that. Get yourself a meeting list. There's lots of meetings around here. and I want you to put this white book in your back pocket, and don't leave home without it. Take it everywhere you go. I did first 2 years or so. I mean, I wanted to have a prop. I wanted to be able to pull out a white book. Well, so what? I don't. But for 2 years, 3 years, I didn't go anywhere without that white book in my back pocket, and I read it. Mark said, I don't know what he did what kind of job he had. I didn't have a job, man. I collected unemployment my first year of recovery. I got to go to any convention I wanted to. I got to go to any dance, fundraiser. See, I lived in Ohio. You could go anywhere. See, I live in Florida now. You can only go up, right? To get out of the state. And I live in South Florida, It's quite a journey just to get across the state line. But in Ohio, I did a lot of traveling. I went a lot of places. And I had that white book in my back pocket while I stand in the unemployment line collecting that unemployment. And I went there every week, Did you look for a job? And at that point, I was at the B's in the yellow pages of all the jobs I'd looked at. I said, yep, I went to these places. Give me my check. So, and they did. I had a lot of fun early on in recovery. It was a party. I stuck with the winners, and they worked the steps, and so I worked the steps. The newcomer, we didn't write it because we wanted you. It's the truth. It's the most important person at any meeting. And although you're very important to yourself, I think that was the only other thing I wanted to make clear is because I listen to people. I've heard podium speakers get up there and say that, and I'm thinking, you dick, okay? Oh, shit, I fucked up. Okay, I'm sorry. Like, some of you might think that. Some of you in here might have even said that, but I don't know that. Please don't take it personally. See, that's my opinion. Maybe I'm the dick, all right? Okay, in closing,
Doing a good job. Love it.
in closing, I do have to share one more story. So I get a phone call last week at work. Someone I haven't spoke to in about a year and a half, someone I used to shoot dope with, and before that I hadn't spoke to him in 2 years. Hey, brother, he says. I'm busy, right? I'm busy. Who the fuck's this, I say. He say, Jeff. I'm like, okay, Jeff. I run through my mental Rolodex of how many Jeffs I know. Just to give you an idea, last night in my room I had 2 Jeffs and 2 Jerrys, all right? And 4 of my closest friends in Florida are named Jeff, okay? For some reason it's a pretty common name. And brother Jeff, and he tells me who he is, and I stopped. My world stopped. How you doing, man? And we're talking. He says, I'm doing pretty good. He says, I got a little bit of the program under my belt, He said, that's right. I got 39 days clean. I said, oh, far fucking out, okay? Back when I was getting clean in 81, he used to ride with me to meetings, right? And he was a good friend. And finally, I used to let him burn a doob in my truck while we were going out afterwards, even though I was clean. And I learned, no, I can't do that, And someone said I was enabling him. I said, well, no, I'm not enabling. He's going to smoke. And I thought, well, anyway, I had to, no, man, you can't smoke in the truck. And he accepted that. That was cool. But back in 81, he used to, ride with me to the meeting, and afterwards we go out to a club or something because, I wanted to be a rock star, so you got to go where the bands are. And so that's what I did early on in recovery. I had a reason for going there. You can go anywhere you want to go as long as you're on good spiritual grounds, as long as you got a reason to be there. And I feel kind of funny saying that one, but nonetheless, you can do that if you got a reason, all right? You can't be going out if it's not a good reason. So I had a reason. We did that. He calls me, and I am beside myself. Let me get back to the story. I said, well, guess what? Okay, next week, I said, here's what I want you to do. I want you to get in a car, and I want you to drive your ass over to Bethesda, Maryland, to the Hyatt Regency Hotel, right? And there's not a lot of people here from Columbus where I got clean, and I said, no problem. I know everybody. I'll hook you up with a ride, right? No, I did not succeed in that. But, and his brother, another guy I used to run with, I taught him how to shoot dope too. They reminded me of that last night. You know what I told them? I was wrong. So anyway, last night these guys give me a call. And they say, actually, the brother calls me. He says, "Hey, Tuffy, how's it going?" He says, "Well, me and Jeff, we're going to be coming over tomorrow and everything." He's giving me, he said, "What's your room number?" And they're talking to me, "Good to talk to you, you know, and everything." And he said, "Well, we'll see you tomorrow. I got to go to bed." I said, "Where's Jeff?" He said, "Oh, he's home sleeping right now." I say, "Okay." So I hang up the phone. They called me from the lobby, okay? They were already here. It was just too incredible. I get a knock on my door, and these guys walk in, a blast from my past, all right? And I couldn't believe it, all right? I mean, like, nobody from my neighborhood got clean, you know? I had a lot of friends and acquaintances die. They get blown away with a shotgun in a car wreck. One guy got shot by the cops. One guy OD'd and choked to death. And I was you know, like these are the kind of people I hung with. So you can understand my attitude when I came in here and realized y'all couldn't handle your dope anyway. But so they came in, and it was really beautiful. And they are, you know, they've never seen anything like this, okay? And this is like really great. And I wanted to share that with you because that was a spiritual awakening. I have God working in my life all the time if I just like notice it, you know, and get out of my own world, my own life, my own shit, and realize, well, how important is it, and why am I here? Well, I'm here to help another addict stay clean another day. That's why I'm here, and everything else is pretty much secondary. And I had another friend call me up from Florida, and he was pulling my leg. He says, "Hey, we're in the lobby. We're coming up. What room you in?" I says, "Don't fuck with me. Where are you? Okay, are you in Florida or are you up here?" He said, "No, tough. We're here, man. Right. And I'm like, "Charlie, I don't believe you." And he puts his buddy on the phone, Scott. And Scott said, "Hey, Tough, how's it going?" I say, "So when are you guys coming up?" Scott, he blew it. He says, "Well, we're heading for the airport pretty soon, you know." Charlie says, "No, we're in the lobby already." Scott says, "Oh, no, we're downstairs in the lobby already." But they called me up to tell me they love me, and they do. My friends really love me, and I really love my friends. My friends are very, very important to me. They've been my support group through all my shit. They've shared my joy through all my wonderfulness when recovery, when life was wonderful, and if it gets any better, I'm going to explode. They've shared that with me. And when life was the worst, and I said, I really don't want to be here right now, they were there for that too, and my friends are very important. And so Charlie called me up to have me remind you, Florida's throwing 2 parties this year. If you've never been to a FRCNA, I'm sure you've heard about it. And we're hosting the WCNA this year, and we invite you all to come down to the Orlando Stouffer Resort Hotel, because we're in charge. Florida is throwing the WCNA, and the World Committee, you know, we got some big demands, you know, and they've never like done this kind of shit before, but they trust us, you know. Florida, I love my region. I love my fellowship. I love my home group. I love my ASC, you know. I love my area. So I just, depending on wherever I am, I probably love it, depending on how well I accept it. You know, I have no power to change the outside world. I can only change myself. I love you. Thank you.
Will the parents of Stuart Cobb please go up to the daycare center? Will the parents of Stuart Cobb please go up? Stanley.